Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Interventions and Detentions. I'm your host, Brad, and I'm really excited about this week's episode because not only do I get to bring a peer, but a friend and somebody that I used to be the boss of a few years ago back.
You thought you were.
Good answer, Mr. Barrand. I've got Andrew Barrand here. Andrew is principal at Lakeland Intermediate School, the school that I left to come to Central Noble. He now sits at my old desk, and this is his first year as true principal. He's had a couple assistant gigs over the years, and he's been teaching for several years before that. He's a very strong instructionalist. Very good at classroom management. And before we jump into the strengths of Mr. Barrand and what he is now doing to lead his building, I want you, Andrew, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started, where you came from, how you got here to be on the microphone with Mr. T today.
Yeah, it's been a long journey to get to the microphone. We haven't really been able to get it scheduled out.
It's been tough, hasn't it?
But I guess that's the life of principals, where you think you can do it at night and then it just doesn't work that night.
Absolutely.
But I'm here now. So, yeah, my educational journey is started as a classroom teacher, 5th grade, with a strong team. Two of my peers kind of took me under their wings and taught 5th grade 9 years, I believe. Was a school leader from the classroom. Was like, I don't have a lot going on in my life at this time. Maybe I should go get a master's. Maybe be a principal at some point. That went pretty quick. Got my master's pretty quickly. I had an opening at the high school that I was able to jump to a assistant principal role. Learned a lot in that. And then I was able to return back to the intermediate building at Lakeland where I had taught previously, and did 2 years of an assistant there. And then that all fell into place, and then it was open this summer or last spring. And now I am the principal of a 3rd grade to 6th grade building, 18 classrooms,
Wow.
And just a variety of awesome staff doing great things for students in LaGrange County.
Yeah. One thing I like to tease Andrew about, obviously we keep in touch. We share our battle stories, almost weekly sometimes through text or phone calls, and share the celebrations or the heartaches that we're going through. But I tease him sometimes because he would come into my office as a 5th grade teacher and kind of razz me about how easy I had it. And gosh, you don't have to do anything all day long, and I'm teaching kids and blah, blah, blah. How is it now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in this role, I've learned a lot as that teacher, when you have your door closed, you know what's in your classroom and what you are handling daily, and it is a lot of work in that classroom. But in this new role, I have seen all these positions from a different viewpoint, and just the awesomeness that was going on throughout the building from all the staff, supporting kids in a variety of ways, but always having the kids' best interest in mind. But yeah, definitely different than those days I went to razz you and say, like, maybe you should do something today, because I am teaching an awesome math lesson and
Exactly.
You aren't. But yeah, definitely different, but also exciting.
Yeah. So I led into this by saying Andrew was and is a strong instructional classroom teacher. So when he was in the classroom, first off, he was fun to watch, but he had a command about his class and his instructional techniques. Firm and fair is kind of how I would say it. He had really high expectations for his learners, but not only for his kids, but for himself. And I kind of want you to talk a little bit about that, Mr. Barrand, like your philosophy on instruction, why it remains so central also to leadership as well. Why is instruction so important to you?
I mean, that's why a school is there to instruct students in those core content areas to make them successful in wherever field they go into. And I just lived, when I was a teacher, my quote was, high achievement takes place in a framework of high expectation, and that high expectation is for all. And then the teacher's role there is to get all students as close to that expectation as possible. And how do you get them there? By building relationships, having clear expectations, building with home connections, and just having a good time in the classroom as well. Kids who want to be in a room are going to achieve more.
Mm-hmm. I always thought I liked how you could joke with your kids, but you could also be assertive with them and set that level of expectation, whether it was for behavior or instruction, and kids responded to that. I mean, they really ate that up, I feel like.
Yeah, just having witness and just having that control of an environment, knowing what you're teaching, knowing how to get kids closest to that level, kids know when you know, and they can kind of take advantage of those times that you stray. And I definitely had those moments as well and learned from those of something that I thought might be an easy task and it just didn't get explained to the same level that I should have, and then it just doesn't happen the right way.
Here's a question I just thought of that I never asked you when I was your leader in your building. How much time did you spend planning? Like, I don't even necessarily mean lesson planning, but like planning to instruct your class, like on a weekly basis. Were you a guy that could kind of just go with it, or did you sit down and write, lesson plans line by line?
When I first started, definitely you have to show up and know what you're doing, and if you don't know your standards or the curriculum, I relied on my team early in my career, and then it became, I know the plan, this is where we are in our curriculum, but then how can I meet the needs of the students in my classroom? And there were a lot of times that my lesson would change on my drive in. I would think of something, I would see a ratchet on the floor, and I'd be like, oh, that could be a tool for reading nonfiction, and I would be like a tool belt. So a lot of my strongest lessons came from a spot of creativity in the moment, but I definitely early on studied standards both above and below my grade level. I was the fifth grade teacher, so studying where they came from and where they need to go to be successful, and then getting them to fifth grade or beyond.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that transition from classroom to principal, and you can even tie in assistant principal if you want to, because it's been a couple-year transition since you've been in the classroom. I mean, I know you still pop into classrooms and model instruction a lot, which I think is awesome, but what's been the biggest surprise, since you left the classroom and moved to the office?
Yeah, I do try to get in the classrooms, and every time I teach a lesson, man, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Teaching is really fun, and I think we sometimes don't always remember all the great things that teachers do and how fun that job is and how it's different every day. There's challenges, but it's fun. The transition, I felt like I was a school leader from the classroom, but being the school leader in the position of school leader is definitely different.
Yeah.
I'm an idea creator from the classroom to the principal. I would come to you with ideas. Can I try this? Can we do a iReady March Madness challenge?
I remember that.
Super exciting. But you had to be the person who signed off and then present it to the team.
Right.
Where now I can create the ideas, and I also have to present the ideas and defend the ideas, which takes a little bit of the enjoyment out of it. But I also get the ideas brought to me, and we go with them. And when teachers are invested in some of those, it makes it a lot more impactful.
Right. Side note question: if you weren't in education, you weren't in teaching, you weren't in leadership, what would you do?
I mean, I really don't have an answer to that.
That's probably a good thing, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
when you get to my point, you start thinking about those things like, okay, what could I do now if I wasn't doing this? But
no, I mean, I have a passion for seeing kids grow. I have a passion for instruction, so I would want to be in some type of field of instruction. I like the changes every day. I like all those pieces. So it would have to be something where the day is different, the tasks are different, and I can have some excitement and creativity. So wherever that would fall, that would be a position I would want. And right now that is within an elementary building.
Nice. We're going to jump into kind of the behavior part of instruction here in a minute. So leading into that, tell me what you think that connection is between quality instruction and good classroom behavior or classroom behavior management. How does that work together?
Yeah, when you think about students who have behaviors in a classroom, I feel like they normally are going into these two different columns of students who are below grade level and are frustrated with the content that's being delivered, or those who may already have the content mastered or on the brink of mastery, and they are two groups that are going to show some behaviors either because they don't want to feel not successful with what's being taught, or they've already know those things and now they can use their social presence and be okay with that content. So just understanding behaviors, and if it's some type of communication of on both sides of that, and adjusting your instruction to then continue to challenge those who already know. So how can you take them to the next level, whether that is going to be assessed or a random drop by them, hey, have you thought about if you wanted to do this with that problem? Mm-hmm. Can you go with that? Or how can I try to build a model on the lower end here, and I'll get you closer to what we're doing on the board. Not exactly the same, but they can have that success there, and it builds them to the standard that is being taught on that day. Gotcha. So I do think just understanding where the behavior is from And if it is a communication tool for either not understanding or just really thinking they do understand.
Gotcha. And I think in your intermediate building with your span, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, like I know that was a little bit of a challenge to me because you've got basically primary kids coming into you and junior high kids at the other end of it. It's a big spectrum. So you're going to see behavioral issues across the board that look different from grade level to grade level. But how do those when the behavior issues occur, is that rooted in gaps in instruction or engagement or a little bit of both? What do you think?
Just in schools in general?
Yeah.
I think behavior it's hard to tie down to a particular every time it is this.
Right. Agreed.
Behavior is consistently changing, and lives are changing at home. Home lives are changing. What they come in the morning, and it's different every day sometimes. So to tie a direct, like, this is cause or root of some behavior in a school, I don't think can be done. But I do think seeing, like, and consistently looking at educational practice in today's society of continuing to increase engagement, it would reduce behaviors. Finding ways to modify and scaffold to get kids closer to that curriculum content or that grade level content will reduce behaviors. But I don't have an answer to be like, if we always did this,
I wish it was that easy.
It would result in this, and that's just not how school works.
Absolutely. I do think engagement is probably the bigger piece of that puzzle. I mean, I feel like if your kids are engaged, your instruction's good, or vice versa. And I do think kids come to us with a lot of outside factors that contribute to behaviors that we don't even have a clue sometimes, unfortunately. And we try to understand, what's going on in their little worlds when they come into our building. But, thinking about engagement a little bit further, I guess, do you have any strategies that teachers can use to keep students engaged that would also help reduce those behaviors and disruptions?
Yeah, I try to, whenever we have new teachers on board in our district, we meet with them about a few different topics, and one of those is just manage your classroom through instruction. And a big one there is just knowing what you're teaching daily and how to get the most students to that level as possible. So I've used a few of the Teach Like a Champion techniques. Some of those are more respected, like in the educational field, than others. But you have to make your own techniques to get students to be actively engaged, meaning that they are talking to peers. They are leading the lesson. And I just did a PD recently where we kind of talked about the ball, and like a ball is the questions and the checks for understanding and the instruction, and who is holding the ball more frequently. Can you get the ball to pass along in the classroom before it comes back to you? Or is it just a consistent, I have the ball as the teacher, I give it to the kid, they give it back, and we just continue to pass it back and forth? Can they pass it among themselves? And getting that level of engagement, I think, is where the strongest instruction will be.
I like that. That's one, I think that ball analogy is kind of neat. That's one focus I always had in classrooms is teacher talk versus student talk. Like I always wanted to see more student talk and less teacher talk, if that makes sense.
Yeah, when you look at some of the evaluation tools in Indiana, I know it's kind of changed a little bit, but some of those evaluation tools rely on students being the active learners.
Yeah. So, and I think you're a really good coach when it comes to, instruction and management. What are some things that you're doing? And you've had a lot of new teachers this year as a first-year principal. And buy-in sometimes can be hard because you're a young administrator, you're a good teacher, obviously. But what have you done to coach those new teachers and even maybe some of the veteran teachers on, not being so reactive, maybe being more proactive in those instructional strategies and techniques?
I mean, it's coming through. We have a lot of professional development in my district, so we present on effective techniques for instruction about once a month. Like I said, this week was Check for Understanding, so I remember it pretty clearly. But I also just try to pop into classrooms, support, compliment. There's a lot of great things, and especially in that early in your careers, you're not going to have every technique. And I definitely preface that when I give advice is like, yeah, it's always I already feel when I was teaching, and I know that wasn't that long ago.
Do it this way, right?
But it feels like even me being out of the classroom for a little bit, I don't feel like I have the same pulse of the curriculum exactly. So I just give them like, these are the things I see that you're really growing on, and then have you considered and then try this. Try this thing, and we'll follow back up. That's sometimes through just like walk-through conversations, in the hallway conversations. It's not, or in an evaluation type of setting.
Yeah. And I definitely use that as an advantage, and I know you are, because for me, I've been out of the classroom. Last time I taught in the classroom was 2002, 2003, fifth grade. And I did not teach the way you were teaching when I would come and observe you. I mean, I just didn't. It was different then. I opened up my teacher's manual, like, okay, we're going to do chapter 2 today, unit 1, lesson 1, and get out your books, boys and girls. I mean, there was not a lot of small group instruction, differentiation. I taught the same lesson to everybody. So you're obviously from the new generation of educators. I have to rely on people like you when I go into classrooms to get that buy-in of like, oh yeah, Mr. T does know instructionally what's best for kids, even though it's been 20 years since I've instructed a group of classroom students.
Yeah, and I really rely on some of my teaching team as well. We have mentor teachers in our district, and I've never taught our English curriculum, so it's one that I don't feel like I can I don't think I can give them quite as clear of direction. Mm-hmm. So I encourage them, like, I have seen this, go communicate with your team of teachers, because they have new ideas and they have awesome strategies that I've never done. So just seeing the good in a building, trying to recognize that good, and then passing people to the right others that are already working for us. Nice.
Well, let's jump into another topic that you have got into at Lakeland, and Lakeland as a whole, I believe, has kind of made a shift to something called conscious discipline. I don't know a lot about it other than what I've heard from you. I don't know if it's kind of a boxed package kind of thing, but tell us about what conscious discipline is, what it is, and why you value it. Because I know you're really into it and you're buying into it.
Yeah, we've had a lot of training on it. A good chunk of my staff is trained to varying degrees. Conscious discipline is a program. It's not a scripted type program, but more of a mindset. And it's a really adult-focused program for social emotional learning. And adults staying regulated regulate kids. Consistency regulates kids. So we have kind of went that route, and the teachers who have studied more and implemented more pieces into their own classroom have had some success and are very complimented in our committees. They see growth. We are continuing to throw through coaching, and it is something that I would recommend your listeners go explore. Right now we're kind of moving towards kind of the voice that you use with students, so assertive, aggressive, or passive voice. So how are you asking a kid to get off the computer? Does it sound like it's an option, or does it sound aggressive, or does it sound like get off the computer, do work, like more assertive, or is it, can you get off the computer? And then they reply, and then you're in this like mutual, like we think it's like a power struggle, right? So that's kind of where we are this year with it. Other pieces of it are just really being mindful of each other, and our breathing is one that has been very is complemented to. This is hard to talk into this.
It is.
That staff have complemented it really. When you can get an entire student body to breathe, and it's like the whole level goes down. I do staff meetings, we breathe, and adults, it just lowers that energy. We get our focus, and then we can get the job done.
I've seen a couple of videos of that, I think, where on your Facebook page where classrooms are practicing the breathing, or maybe even in a staff meeting that you did that. And I think it's really cool. I think teacher regulation is hard sometimes because kids wear on us, or we bring in something from home that is bothering us, or stress, or whatever, and it's very easy to take it out on kids. But it's funny that you mentioned that regulation piece, because it's come up a couple times in recent episodes where I talk about kids mirror the adults, and if we're not regulated, they're not going to be regulated. So trying to find that fine line of keeping cool, take a breath.
Yeah, and I model it in my office as well. I mean, my heart starts racing, I feel sweaty whenever there's those students who are like having behaviors and we're not making much progress, and I will say, I need to take a breath. I'm going to step out, you take a breath, and we will come back and we'll figure out where we go from here. And just modeling it as adults, we do it. We have those conversations. Another big part of conscious discipline is just getting through conflict, expressing, I feel this way when, and then having the other person recognize that, and then we can switch roles. That is something that adults do in life when you don't see eye to eye.
Right.
And to get someone in 3rd to 6th grade to be able to do that, will hopefully make them more successful adults.
Right.
That's the role of education, is to make them successful humans in our society.
Absolutely. So I know you've actually gone away for training, right, for conscious discipline, but you probably haven't been able to take your whole staff, obviously. So how do you bring that PD and training back to the teachers that don't get to go? Because it's expensive to send teachers to those kind of things. How do you bring it back and support the people that aren't hearing it firsthand?
Yeah, we have a little part of my weekly announcement that has a conscious discipline theme or an instructional strategy theme that they can then implement. And then it's just word of mouth. When things are working for teachers, they are going to express this is working, and other teachers are going to want to hear more about it.
Right.
So that is kind of, I think, where we are currently is in our last conscious discipline meeting, there was a good chunk of teachers who were like, this is really working, and I know my team is now more ready to hear it. So I would say as a school, just using those that are already in your building who are passionate and are exploring things and having success, if they're having success with it, can you recreate parts of it and make it your own and find similar success?
Nice. So in this first year, this is year 1, correct, of conscious discipline?
This is our second year. And then the primary school, which I believe you had Miss Cabrick on a while ago, they have a little bit of another year on us. They started with some online video stuff.
Gotcha.
But this is our second year more fully implemented.
So what would you say has been a win in this early implementation of conscious discipline for Lakeland Intermediate School?
An early win would just be that, just being more mindful of adult voice and just being mindful and aware of where students are in their executive state. So like you can't teach them if they're not in the state to be taught. You're not going to be able to teach them in that moment.
Right.
So just being mindful of where students are, getting them back to a state that they can processing whether it's academics or behavior, and then figuring out a plan together and trying to implement that plan.
What's been the biggest challenge of the rollout?
There's always challenges. It's just, there's a lot of things in a school that go on daily, and it's another part of what teachers need to engage with, and just finding that time to really study it and be prepared to defend it. I think the time is always tight in a school. There's pushing students daily, and you do need to kind of have the full understanding of conscious discipline to be able to, it's really, one of them that's really hard is that assertive voice.
Yeah.
Because you do go to that asking a question like, should you be standing like that?
Right.
They know the answer is no. But it's been how that's just how it has been said to you probably in school, and then you just continue those patterns.
Yep.
And to change that into more of an assertive type of language isn't as easy as it seems.
Yeah.
Another one we do is noticing, where you don't say you try to turn it into just what you see. So they're not going for that validation of, oh, he likes me and doesn't like a student across the hall. It is more like, I see behavior, or I see what you're doing, not who you are. I don't like you. I just see the behavior.
Right.
And that one we try to challenge once, where we try to notice and switch our pennies from one pocket to the other every time I noticed. But you normally say, I like that you're on the line today.
Something simple.
Yeah,
really
but
hard.
Trying to switch it to something different is a challenge.
Have you seen or felt a lot of pushback from your teachers? Because that's a daunting thing to take on, something that's, I wouldn't say radical, but it definitely is a mind shift probably for some of your teachers. So, is the buy-in there? Have you really had to pull some people along, or?
No, right now we're still in the early stages. Anytime you implement something early, it's pretty clear in the progression of conscious discipline not to take what they've known, but to encourage or show what they can do now. So not taking the things that they've always used to manage classrooms, but to present other alternatives, and then the ones who are taking on those alternatives to share the opportunity that has come because of those, and then more will join along. So it's not I haven't mandated one of the things is like a safe space, or that's not a mandate at this time. It's just we are in the early stages of implementation, and as it grows, and I think as my team leaders of conscious discipline or those who just join in continue to share, I do think we will take on more of those pieces.
Awesome. Well, I'm anxious to kind of watch your journey with that and learn more about conscious
I also,
discipline.
I mean, like I said, when I go to the trainings and I think back to when I did run a room, which you were in my room,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I was assertive pretty frequently. And
I would say so.
And it worked. Or I was also, there's that aggressive tone, and it happens too.
Yeah.
And I definitely said, should you be on your Chromebook today? I said all those things, and I'm like, did it go well? Yeah, I do think I was successful. Could I have done it differently and been just as successful? And that's where our conversations are right now as teachers are just looking at practice. Can you do it differently and maybe get more out of it?
Right. I like that. Let's talk now about year one principal. Like I said, you've had a couple assistant jobs leading up to this building level position. Let's talk about year one as a principal.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Because it's different than an assistant, obviously, more responsibility, things like that. But let's talk about balance. What have you learned about balancing the leadership part, the instructional leader of the building, and also the school management piece? You're also the disciplinary. I know you've got an assistant, but...
Yeah, I have an awesome assistant that joined us this year, doing some great things for us and has a different background than me. So I'm a learner as well, so I'm taking notes there. But I've learned that there are a lot of different things there's meetings that come up that take you out of the building for a while. There are things that just come across your calendar that you weren't expecting, and then it puts you on a different path for some of the things that you need to do. Right. So that is one of the struggles I've had early on, is just managing the stuff I know I personally have to get done in a day or in a week or in a month versus those that someone else needs me to do to make their job successful, whether that is something dealing with title funding or just a variety of different topics that come. So it's just it's just balancing what I know I want to get done versus what I have to get done to help some others in their roles.
Yeah. So I kind of teased a little bit at the beginning during the introduction that, you gave me a hard time early on about, well, you don't do anything, you're just a principal, and I'm down here teaching class. And I could remember...
Yeah, have you ever taught? That's what I was like. I
remember that conversation.
I was like, are you sure you've taught before?
Yeah, 20 years ago. But I can also remember, and I don't know if it was this year or maybe when you were an assistant, I can't remember, but I do remember you picking up the phone and calling me and like, dude, I should have never said some of those things to you because it is really hard. You do stuff that we don't see as teachers or staff or whatever. But what are the challenges that you've faced from that shift of teacher to leader? What are the things that stand out? Like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be like this. Or
I would say finding success, like noting it in the classroom as I had my classroom family. Mm-hmm. I think it was easier for me to pinpoint or put my thumb on. This student didn't understand division, now understands division. Right. I am successful. As the school leader, it just is it's a broader umbrella, and seeing some of those successes, and I count those two teachers, not so much leadership. Yeah. I'm like, we've had some good data coming in, and we have some exciting things going, both in students having leadership positions, and we have cultural stuff, but I credit that to the teachers,
right?
Because they're the ones on the daily making those groups, making those plans, working together. Not so much as me as a leader.
Yeah.
So just that success level, I haven't quite figured that part out of finding success in my role.
Yeah.
But then I walk down the hallway and I see success in all these rooms. As the leader, I should be able to translate that into, as the leader of a building that is running this way, you are successful. But it just is a bigger umbrella that I'm not used to yet.
But do you feel, too, and I think I'm guilty of this, it's a lot easier to focus on the negative and what's not looked at as successful day to day than it is those. I feel like there's probably way more success than there is the negative, but we focus on the negative because we want everything to be successful.
Yeah, that's who that's it. Yeah, my teachers do daily. They see we can do more here. We can try this, but there's a lot of great, and that's what I need to see as well from my role in the office on my own umbrellas and what I am doing.
So if you could, reach out through the microphone, I'm hoping we've got some aspiring leaders out there, maybe some other people that are in your same shoes. And I know it's hard to give advice of, this is what I would tell somebody new. But what would you say to somebody that's either maybe considering going into a principalship or assistant job, or that's a first year leader? What would you tell them, the one or two pieces of advice to help them out?
You keep kids as the main focus. I mean, that's why you are there. You make decisions for kids, and then you are making you're making an impact. Mm-hmm. Your teachers are doing the impact. They're doing the work because they trust you as the leader. Yeah. So that first year it's a tough year. I mean, that's where I am right now, but my team around me is one of my highlights, and that's what I've consistently complimented. When I talk about my first year, my team is willing to do pretty much anything.
Nice. They
will step into different spots, and because they are doing that because I guess I am their leader, because that's what I'm going to tell myself at least.
Nice. I like it. How does being, I did an episode with Sherry, my wife, of being married to an educator, and you're fairly newly married. I would still call you a newlywed at this point, because has it been over a year, right?
Yeah, Andy. I mean, we almost have the same name, but we don't.
I know.
Because my name's Andrew. Don't call me Andy.
I will never call you Andy. I always call you Andrew. How does Andy deal with Andrew, the principal, when he comes home at night? Do you shut it off, or does it carry over like it does for me sometimes?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, she's definitely a really big help to me as a leader. I mean, she helps me do my ideas. She's much better on Canva than me. So I'm like, hey,
I need to learn Canva
I need to do this. I'm like, you seem like you have availability. Can you help out our school? I'm like, I really need somebody for Santa shop. So she's supportive. Nice. She's supportive of education. I don't bring her too many other things except the stuff I need for like craftiness.
Don't make her hang out with you at ball games or things like that.
No, she has her own leader role that she's doing. So, but we have obviously conversations of managing a variety of topics and working on the calendar, and then also the fun stuff of school that, hey, can you help me make this more fun and more creative?
Yeah. Is she going to listen to this episode?
I probably won't even tell her I did her episode.
I'm going to give her a shout out to Andy, so you better make her listen to it, at least part of it. So.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
She is very cool. I was glad to be at your guys' wedding, and we had some fun that night, but that's a whole other episode probably. So, all right, Andrew, I've bent your ear a lot on school stuff, instruction, management, principal, blah, blah, blah. But now, this is my favorite part of the episodes when I have a guest. When I'm doing my own solo, I can't really do rapid fire questions because I already know the questions and know the answers. So you have not seen these questions ahead of time. They're now in front of you, so don't cheat too much. And this doesn't have to be super rapid fire. You can think about it a little bit if you want to.
I'm pretty quick on my feet.
You are pretty quick. All right, so here we go with rapid fire question number 1. What's one thing you wish every teacher knew about their principal?
Okay, I'm not that quick on my feet. I mean, wish they knew. I don't know, man. This is the hardest part of the podcast.
Would it help you? I would say that we're human. We're just human. We're like anybody else.
Oh, it's like that. I thought it was going to be like a life story that I had back in the day.
Well, you could do that too.
Like, back in 4th grade, I was one name on the board away from not going on the Chicago field trip.
Were you really?
I mean.
That's a great kind of another topic. What kind of student were you?
I pushed the boundaries.
Okay, I did too.
Right to the brink, and then I would stop.
Yeah, you knew when to, stop.
Yeah, and I would be the one that, the teacher would be like, oh, it's kind of a tough one, and then by the end of the year, they kind of enjoy me. I think I still kind of have that persona. Yeah. So I just like to keep it going through life.
Nice. Have you kept in any contact with your people that you had as a principal as a kid? Like, do they know you're a principal now?
Nah, I mean, I don't know any of those people. I think they might not be here any longer, Brad. Let's wish them well.
That's interesting. So when I came to Wilkett Mills I had been a principal for 2 years down at Norwell, and I came back to Wilkett Mills, which was the building that I went to as a kid. And Mr. White, who had been my principal, he ran the Courier, the mail, interschool mail. And I can remember walking in one day, and he was sitting in the janitor's office, and he knew me, and I knew him. And I said, "Hey, Mr. White, what can you tell me? Like, what's your biggest piece of advice?" And he kind of sat there, and I don't know if you knew Mr. White at all. Very tall, rugged man, was a boxer too in his earlier years. He said, "Brad, just don't take any from anybody." Okay, so that's probably the best advice you could ever give a principal. So
Well, this was supposed to be rapid fire.
I know. We're just taking our time through it. It's okay.
I just wondered where the rapid part is.
It's slow.
Okay.
It's for those of you listening, it's 2 days before Christmas break, and Andrew and I both are feeling it, I think. So, all right, here we go. Rapid fire number 2. When you walk into classrooms, what's one thing that instantly makes you smile?
Kids having fun about learning. I mean, kids who are having a good time and thinking.
All right. What's the first thing you look for when you walk into a classroom? Learning targets?
No, I look for kids who look like they want to be in a classroom and are engaging with each other and the teacher.
All right. I'll buy that. All right. So besides Interventions and Detentions podcast, what book or podcast has shaped the way you lead?
I'm a big follower of Ron Clark and his work.
Yep. You kind of turned me on to Ron.
I mean, I got to go on like a bucket list PD last year and went to his academy in Atlanta, and I just saw that, you know, the perception of his, and it's a lot different than the schools that we have worked at previously. Right. They have some bigger donors, but the kids are the same. They're using similar curriculum to what we have. I think one of them was the exact same curriculum, but the liveliness and that excitement of education was alive in the building, and that's the culture that I'm looking to build in my own building, and I have the team to do it.
The one thing I took from Ron that you kind of instilled in me as a teacher was that just respect. Like, respect is the overarching behavior management, discipline, school culture. We've got to have respect. It ties to everything. And if we don't have respect, we have nothing. And
it was mutual respect. You could tell they mutually respected their teachers, and the teachers respected, like the kids respected the teachers at the Ron Clark Academy, and the teachers had respect, or I don't know which one I missed there, but there was mutual respect.
Yep.
That's the gist.
I still talk about that here at the primary, like, how do we show respect in the hallways? How do we show respect on the playground? And it's our life skill of the month right now, so yeah, big on respect. What's one phrase that you find yourself saying to students all the time?
I don't really do a phrase, but we don't do. I'm still the head nodder.
Yeah.
Like I do the.
You're kind of a silent guy.
Exaggerated head nod.
Yeah.
Maybe a little chest bump with my hand and the head nod.
So I know, like we talked about the range, 3rd through 6th. Do you get hugs from your 3rd graders? Are you a huggy kind of guy?
No, because they see me from afar and I do the head nod.
Gotcha. You give them a virtual hug.
Yeah.
I like it. As long as it's not a virtual head butt or something like that. Okay, I love it.
Yeah, I guess it's not a head nod. I mean, what do you...
It's a throwback. It's like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, the head. So not a nod, more of throw my head
back.
Like
you're acknowledging, like, I see you. Yeah. I like it.
You can try it tomorrow. See if people respect it.
I'll try it out and see what kind of reaction I get. The kids will be like, "Why are you not hugging me?" And
I learned this from a podcast.
Does your neck hurt? Or it'll be funny. What's your biggest aha moment about leadership this year?
There's a lot of paths to get the solution.
Yeah.
And just trying to find the best path. I mean, you can get to a solution in a variety of ways and just really working collaboratively to find the best way.
Okay. If you could go back and give first-year Andrew as a teacher one piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Oh, you're making an impact every day. Show up every day and push yourself and learn more.
I like it. What's the hardest part about turning off principal mode when you get home? We just kind of talked about it. We didn't talk about how you turn it off, but what's the hardest part about turning it off when you see Andy at night?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on all day, and there's stuff I need to finish at night, and there's stuff I already have on the list for tomorrow. So just it's hard to turn it off because it's all these things need to get done to make the school successful.
So in your career path, who's been a mentor or colleague that made you want to be a leader, be a principal?
I think this is leading me to say my boy Brad.
I was going to say, like, you could say me, but it doesn't have to be me because we didn't really know each other that long. I mean, in our careers at Lakeland, I mean, I was your principal for just a short amount of time before you jumped into taking on leadership classes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really just a one person or one colleague. Like, my teams have always had collaborative spirit. And then I've always been creatively minded, and then I just feel as I continued through school or through teaching, building connectionships, taking on those leadership roles of initiatives, it made the natural sense then was maybe to become the leader of a building.
Yeah.
And that's what I would encourage all teachers. They are all leaders. Take on things. Go to your principal. We want to do this. If you have excitement about it, I'll have excitement for it. If it makes sense, kids will be more excited because they have their teachers leading it. We had one last year, like we ran a talent show that was all teacher driven, super exciting. I would have never thought of it, would have never led it, but that day was the best day for some of those students. They got to show off and were really talented in a way that's different than math and social studies and reading.
I've always said I feel like building memories for kids is way more important than the reading and math. And I know reading and math is really important, but man, when you look back on your educational career, do you remember the reading book that you used in third grade? You remember the field trips and the talent shows and all that stuff.
And when I see my old students now, they remember a random song that me and Mr. Hofer sang, or they remember I fell at recess. They remember those, like the tetherball pole fell over. But then they also remember the teaching they were being pushed.
So speaking of songs, you want to sing a couple bars of PEMDAS?
I actually got invited to sing a song from some high schoolers, and I said that time of my career is over. But I do appreciate you reaching out.
He's pretty talented. Besides,
I still go in and sing a little bit of like Central Tendency to fifth grade, and I think I did one of Mr. Hofer's songs to fourth grade, I think last year, about fractions. But we're not writing music anymore.
Yeah.
We're just performing some of the ones we used to do.
Your band kind of got broken up, unfortunately. So
yeah, he'll give me a call randomly and be like, "Hey, we're doing PEMDAS. They want you to come over." I said, "I'm a principal now."
Oh man, I think you should still do it. Well, let's leave it at this. What's one leadership habit or mindset that helps keep you grounded on tough days?
What's yours?
Oh, one leadership habit keeps me grounded. I think it's kind of like what you said, just keeping kids first. Yeah, we've got adults to manage in our life, but our biggest thing is our kids and wanting them to be successful community contributors, leaders, whatever you want to call it. I want kids to be successful, and I want them to know that there's more than what's in this 4-mile radius around our building. There's a big world out there, and I want to have them be exposed to all of the stuff that they can do. Does that make sense, I guess?
Yeah, I guess one of my personal mindsets, and something I say a lot, is be better.
Yeah, I like that.
So, that's something that the message that I send to students as I walk down the hallway. Wherever they are, they can be better. I can be better in my role, and I could be in my old role. I could be better. So I think just having that philosophy of you can be better. You're doing great things, but I can still be better.
Well, I think tying into that, vulnerability too, like letting kids know it's okay. Grown-ups make mistakes too, and we're not perfect, and it's okay, and we learn from those mistakes. So I guess I would say, just being vulnerable too as a grown-up and letting kids see that, I think is really important. So I love it. Andrew? Buddy, we hit 42 minutes and counting. We're still going. We're not quite done yet. We're going to wrap it up, though, here. I want to thank you for coming. This has been months in the making. He's not lying that we have really gone back and forth. Like, we'd have a date set. We're going to do it this weekend, and then I had something come up, or he just didn't want to do it. Or
yeah, I was a little afraid to be here on the mic with you.
You did great. You did great.
We'll see.
I think you're going to like how it turns out. I'm excited about it. When I think about the theme of this episode, and I don't always talk about themes, but I would say Andrew is a leader who's really good at making the connection between instruction, behavior, and leadership. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but I do think you are that person.
Well, I appreciate those kind words coming from you, man.
I'm anxious. I would love, I've been in this leadership role for 22 years now. I think that's the right math. I want to come back to you in 22 years and have the same conversation and see where you're at.
Yeah, and that's a message that a lot of people I'm in a couple of different advisory committees, and it's just like you gotta give yourself enough grace to get through more than a year, more than 2, more than 4 at this point.
Do you think you'll stay in it 20 plus years from now?
I feel like I will continue to get better.
And you can always be better, right?
And I will see where the path goes.
Well, I'll be 75 at that time, so I'm anxious to have that. I'll be like, you old whippersnapper, how you're still doing that principal thing? I hope I don't sound like that.
Yeah, that wasn't good on the microphone.
You probably hang up on me.
In real life.
It was not good either way.
You need to wrap it.
We need to wrap it up. Andrew, thanks again for coming. You're a good friend, you're a good teacher, and you're a good leader. And I'm going to have fun watching you grow as a leader over the next few years. It's going to be exciting. So I wish you all the best. I'm always here to help support you and listen to your trials and tribulations, and I hope you do the same.
Thank you, sir. Have a good Have a good holiday season.
I will, and wish you guys a happy holiday season. We've got 1 week away from Christmas. I'll try to pump out some more episodes over break and might take some time off. We'll just see. Thanks for tuning in every week. We continue to encourage you to listen and watch our social media posts of all things interventions and detentions. I'm your host, Brad, and remember, this is where the real learning begins. Have a great week, everyone.